everyone, welcome to FSA Talks, the podcast of FSA, the Financial Supervisors Academy. My name is Veronica Sant. I'm the Assistant Academy Manager at Financial Supervisors Academy. And here with me today, I have Amar Ahmad. Welcome to the FSA podcast. Thank you for joining us. You have facilitated a workshop on AML and TF typologies. Can you introduce yourself, Amar, to our audience?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Amar Ahmed. I am founder and CEO of Sigma Risk, the financial crime and compliance focused consultancy firm operating out of the UK. Yes, today's session has been on AML and CFT typologies, focused on the financial crime and compliance function of financial MFSA, Malta Financial Services Authority. And it has been a very enlightening session. We have talked about some of the very important topics, including the financing of terrorism, countering the proliferation financing, as well as financial crime and compliance challenges within the crypto and the digital assets. So it has been an amazing experience for me to host and handle this session with MFSA today.
Amazing. And can you guide us on how you facilitated the session? What case studies did you go into? And what was the audience like? Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So the session was very much focused on the practicalities on day-to-day as to what things the subject person face on day-to-day basis and what should be the key things that the supervisors should keep in mind when they are assessing the effectiveness of the controls frameworks within the subject persons. The session today was very much focused on the practical guidance, case studies, scenarios, group exercises. So the idea was that when the subject persons are visited by the Financial Crime and Compliance Department and on-site supervision team of MFSA, they are fully aware of the challenges that the subject persons face, as well as supporting the MFSA to ensure that their staff members are asking the right questions.
Exactly.
And having the knowledge and awareness of the products and services offered by the subject persons and performing the research and then translating that into the regulatory expectations and asking the right questions, that is indeed the key. So that was the focus today for these sessions.
Okay, very well. Was there a particular topic that is very emerging in the financial industry at the moment?
All three topics, actually, they're very important. Two of the topics we discussed today, terrorism financing and proliferation financing, we have been aware of these topics since a while, but these topics have been historically discussed in collaboration with AML. Right? They used to be merged together, anti-money laundering and terrorism financing and proliferation financing. However, with the new technologies emerging and new ways deployed by the organized crime groups, etc., the risks are enhancing for the terrorism financing and proliferation financing perspective. So there is a need actually that we dig deeper into counter-proliferation financing and countering terrorism financing. So these two topics were unwrapped in a lot more detail today. So it wasn't just on the definition side. We went through a number of case studies in the real-life scenarios of what has happened in different situations where some of the institutions were exposed to terrorist groups, or some of the institutions have been knowingly or unknowingly exposed to the proliferation of the weapons of mass destruction through providing the services to some of the states who are involved in the proliferation of the weapons of mass destruction. So these two topics are very well known, but I would say not very much explored in detail in the past. So today, we discussed in a lot of details these two topics, proliferation financing and terrorism financing. The emerging topic is, of course, the crypto and digital assets. There has been quite a lot of interesting discussions around. So one of the, I would say, myths that we have a lot of the time in the financial crime and compliance space, that crypto is a higher risk. There's a lot of risk from a financial crime perspective. However, there is actually quite a lot of positive points as well with the traceability of the crypto assets, easy access to anyone and everyone to go back and check crypto wallets, do the investigations. So compared to, I would say, sometimes the conventional banking, crypto and digital assets, they might have, more ability for the staff members or individuals to track and trace everything. So in a way,
Very
it
interesting.
is less risky compared to the conventional banking, where information is retained and controlled only by the financial institutions. And sometimes the cross-border information, it is very difficult to obtain. But in the crypto side, there is quite a lot of opportunity for the institutions, wherever they are based, to obtain the information and track and trace. So we talked about all of these factors of the traceability, the benefits, some of the drawbacks as well. So a very interesting discussion that took place today.
Amazing. One last question, actually. What were the 3 key takeaways from this workshop?
Right, three key takeaways. I would say one is, the most important thing is, as a supervisor, we really need to understand the subject persons. We need to get into their shoes. The subject persons, they do actually go through a lot of challenging situations because they are client-facing. Right? As a supervisor, we can demand, we can set the standards, we can require the subject person to do A, B, C, or X, Y, and Z. However, real-life experiences could be quite different. There's a customer pressure, there is, commercial pressure, etc. So today, I actually led the session in a way that all the delegates, we asked them to put the subject person hat once, to pretend that they are the subject person.
Okay, very interesting.
What would you do in that situation? And then we ask them to put the hat of the supervisor and ask them what should be your expectation and what are the reasonable level of expectation that we can have. So that was one of the key takeaway, the opportunity created for the staff members to experience the both sides. That was important. Also, another key takeaway for today's session was we went through the fundamentals that must be assessed to ensure that a subject person has a robust and effective financial crime and compliance framework. So we went beyond the human judgment that, okay, I am the supervisor, this is what I'm going to check. No, we went to a very structured approach. Okay, what are the key fundamental pillars that subject person must be taken into consideration to make sure that they have robust and effective financial crime compliance framework? And from a supervisor perspective, how to test that. That is very important. So
exactly.
Third thing that we spoke about in very much detail was around the use of third parties. So third-party system provider, tool providers, how much can we believe into what the third-party provider is saying?
Exactly.
We went through some of the real-life cases where some third-party solution providers, they did, as part of their marketing pitch, quite a lot of promises. Look, we screen all the systems, all the clients and the counterparties within 24 hours, or our lists are updated immediately if, a party has been designated as a sanctions. However, that was not the case once the testing was performed. So today we actually explored with some real-life scenarios that how we can actually go and audit or test the effectiveness of the third-party tools or systems that we are using. And that is very important. Regulatory expectation, not only in Malta, pretty much all over the world now.
Exactly.
The regulators are getting very particular. They are raising their expectations for the institutions to ensure that, yes, you can rely on the third parties, but you cannot transfer the ownership. It is your job as a user or a subject person to ensure that if you are going through the taking the benefit from the third parties, systems and controls providers, then you need to test their effectiveness as well. So 3 key areas: the opportunity to see both sides of the picture, the supervisory side and the subject person side. Also talking about the third-party solution providers. So these are the key things that I would say that the key takeaways from today's session.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for being here on our podcast and for delivering such an insightful and engaging workshop. And we ask our viewers to keep watching the space for more podcasts. Thank you.